Welcome to Those Guys Sports. It is your boy Mike, and I wanted to do a quick podcast about the NBA Finals, a prediction, as you would say. Plus, I wanted to talk about the Boston Celtics and what I think they got to do. But before I continue, make sure you like, subscribe, follow on all platforms. The TikTok is growing. Follow on that as well. So let's dive into it. I'm gonna go. Let's go straight to it. This is not gonna be a long podcast. I'm not gonna talk about the Raptors a lot, as much as I probably talk about them all the time. I'm not gonna bring them up too much as I just did right now. I'm gonna go straight to what has just happened. We have the Miami Heat after going up 3-0 against the Boston Celtics to then lose three in a row to the Boston Celtics and then have some would say a pretty convincing game 7. I know everybody loves game 7s, but I've noticed that a lot of game 7s don't end up. They're not every game 7 is the Toronto Philly game 7 in 2019. Not every single one is the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers in 20. I think it's that 2017. Like, not everyone's like that. A lot of them are kind of the ones we watch where a team gets a lead and then pretty much blows out the other team. And Boston tried to make history, being the first team ever in the NBA to be down 3-0 and win. It didn't happen for them. A lot of people can say it's because of Jason Tatum got hurt. In the first play of the game, got hurt. And ever since that, the team kind of fell off. Jaylen Brown didn't help the team. Brogdon seemed off. They say Rob Will had something with him. And Grant Will wasn't that great. Marcus Smart definitely wasn't that great. And, of course, Jaylen Brown was pretty bad. Pretty bad. So, with all that to be said, this team it probably wasn't their year, and I think that's the first thing that we'll talk about is the Boston Celtics and what I think they should do. I messaged on Twitter a couple Raptors writers, podcasters, and I just asked them, like, would you trade for Jaylen Brown? Maybe you got to trade an OG for Jaylen Brown. A lot of them said no. A lot of the reasons were of course, valid, and for the same reason. Jaylen Brown's cannot dribble, does not have a handling package. Obviously, comparing to the average man or woman, Jaylen Brown could dribble the lights out of anyone. But comparably speaking to his peers, Jaylen Brown cannot handle the ball. So then you're asking yourself, is he a 2 on a championship team? Is he a 3 on a championship team? What is his position? So that's like the first question every Boston Celtics fan or every fan of the NBA is asking themselves. What is Jaylen Brown? What can he be? Is he going to be, can he be a great player? Is he a number 1? Will a team like Atlanta go like, you know what? He's a number 1 type player. We're trading him for Trae Young. Or is Washington thinking we're trading him for Bradley Beal? So we can put someone probably a little bit more, definitely not better, but style-wise isn't so similar to a Jason Tatum. Put something different around Jason Tatum. Now the question, every Boston fan has asked himself, one, do you pay Jaylen Brown? Because that contract's up. It's a 5-year, like a lot of money. I think it's like $250. So that's be about $50 million a year he's going to be making starting 2024. Now a lot of people are like, do we really want to pay Jaylen Brown $50 million in 2024? He's only about 27, so that's going to take him to 32, 33. So do we really want to pay this guy who just made All-NBA second team $50 million a year? Right now, if you ask Boston Celtics fans, they'll say no. But here's the thing. You have no choice. He's an All-NBA player. He is a top 20 player in the league. Yeah, he had a bad Game 7. He did. Ultimately, he had a bad Game 7. But there's no way you're not going to say this guy's one of the young talents in the league. There's no way you're not going to try to say that he's one of the pillars, the main pillars on a championship team. I think the thing that people confuse a lot with the NBA is the number one scoring option or the number one option. These things are different, right? The number one scoring option, the number one option, they can be multiple people, different people. The leader is a different person than the number one scorer. Not in every case, but in some cases that's the case. You know, Jaylen Brown's best quality is probably a number two. But the question that I saw one person ask, and I'm glad that they asked this question, first of all, how much number ones do we really have in the league? Like legit number ones. Not as much as people think, right? People look at a Jimmy Butler and didn't know he was going to do this. Wouldn't believe that the Jimmy Butler we're seeing now is a number one option. But he clearly is. So sometimes you have to ask yourself, what's truly a number one? Who are the guys who can really take a team to the finals? Clearly, Jimmy's proving it with the squad he has in Miami. Everyone believes Boston was a better team. Well, arguably, they've been a pretty good team for the past, 5 years. They've been pretty good. So what are they missing? So like I said, the number one question you ask yourself is if you're going to pay Jaylen Brown. The answer is yes, you pay him. Do you eventually trade him down the line, see if you get something different? Maybe you do. Maybe if an Embiid is unhappy, is a division, you may not want to do that, but maybe so. Maybe you could trade Jaylen Brown for a top 10 center. Now, who's the top 10 center? Who knows? Maybe that's the kind of path you got to take. Maybe a top 10 point guard you trade Jaylen Brown for. Because that's what this team really needs. They need someone who can play the point and not really look for their own basket. I love Marcus Smart. So I don't think Marcus Smart is a bad player by any means. I just think his run with this team has stopped. This team needs a floor general like a Mike Conley, like a Chris Paul, like a Kyle Lowry. And I mean, they probably need a vet. They need a vet who could, really say, hey, guys, we're taking a step back. We're going to relax. There's a lot of jump shooting, a lot of bad shots. We're playing a lot of hero ball. You need someone like that who can calm everything down. I'm not sure Marcus Smart's that. I think Marcus Smart's a good leader. I think he tries to help the team defensively and all those things. But I think what this team needs when you have these two young talents, you need a vet point guard who could look at these guys and go okay, let's take a step back. I think if this team had a Kyle Lowry, this Boston Celtics team, I think they'd be much better. Not saying he has to start necessarily, but if you just have a leader as a point guard to help this squad, I think they'll be much better. So yeah, number one, you pay Jaylen Brown. Number two, if you break them up, you probably break them up in. It depends on the package and it depends on what you're getting. You have to get one of those, the same level stars as him. The Trey Youngs, you gotta get. Karl-Anthony Towns, you gotta get. It's one of those guys that you must get. People are talking about Dame. Whew. Then you gotta trade probably Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown for Dame, most likely a draft pick. Now, will a Dame and Jason Tatum work? Scoring wise, yeah, I think it can work. And I think once again, a leader in Damian Lillard can help that team. But it's also what you're putting around the team. It's not just, the way the league's about to go is everyone sees it. You're going to pay two guys, and everyone else is getting whatever else money we have. We may have two max guys, and everyone's getting everything else. Now, would I break up, which is the third probably question, would you really break up Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown? I don't think so. I think, and I'll talk about what I think the main issue is. And this is my main point about the Boston Celtics. The problem with the Boston Celtics is Jaylen Brown. Now, why it's Jaylen Brown is not for the reasons that I'm hearing many people say. My reason of why it's Jaylen Brown is pretty simple. Jaylen Brown doesn't do a lot of the little things. That's why I think they need a Mike Conley, a Kyle Lowry, because they'll do a lot of little things. And I think Marcus Smart does a lot of little things. But when you have, one of your top, two players, top three players, doing a lot of the little things, it helps you out. It makes the team better. It makes the team goes okay, if Jaylen Brown is going to dive for loose balls, play immaculate defense, get a bunch of rebounds, then it's good. Like the little things, it constitutes of So we look at that game, the game seven. Bam didn't have uh the game of like he didn't score 25 points. He didn't have the stats. He didn't have 25, 15, and 4. No, no, no. Bam had what, under 15 points, but a bunch of rebounds, a few assists, and a couple blocks. Like he had an overall game that was impactful. His screening navigation was impactful. The pick and roll defense was impactful. What he did in the defensive end was impactful. Everything he did was impactful. That's why, let's even talk about the Lakers for like 2 seconds. Everyone wants Anthony Davis to be this 25 point a game, 10 rebounds. No, no. Probably the best version of Anthony Davis is doing a lot of the little things, getting you 15 rebounds, maybe scoring 10 points, and then getting some blocks. That's why they're looking for, over in the Lakerland, a person who can score. Because LeBron is still giving you 20 points a game. So if you can get someone else who consistently can get you 20 plus points a game, and then have Anthony Davis do all the little things, it makes it better. Bam did all the little things. Jimmy scored, and then you had Caleb Martin scoring the rest of the load. You go back to the Raptors winning a title. You know what happened? It was everyone else. Marc Gasol. It was Ibaka. It was Fred. It was Pascal. It was Kyle, which would make it easier for a Kawhi to get his baskets going. When Jason Tatum wants to score 50 points, the man can score 50. Yes, the man was hurt game 7. We all understand that, and it makes sense. So even though he was hurt, it's all about, okay, so now it's Jaylen Brown's turn to take the scoring load. But then what Jason Tatum should have done is been doing a lot of little things. Get a bunch of rebounds. Handle the ball. And when they were playing zone, go into the middle. Top of the key. Pass the ball. Make sure there's ball movement. There's no insurance of ball movement with the Boston Celtics. It's just hero ball 24/7. The whole time, it's just hero ball. And because no one's doing the little things. No one's doing the little things. And those things count so much to winning a title. It makes it easier for your main scorer to do main scoring things. Jamal Murray averaged like 20 has averaged 25 points the last series. Jamal Murray was arguably, the better player, or better scorer. But Jokic is doing a bunch. The reason why Jokic is a great player is he does all the little things. LeBron does all the little things. Now LeBron's older, so he can't do a bunch of little things. He mainly just focuses on scoring. But that's where you look at the other person doing the little things. Those things matter. The diving for loose balls, the playing defense, the getting not just any rebound, getting that rebound that's gonna help you, calming the team down. And I mean, sorry, going back to the rebound, it's getting the timely rebound, hitting the timely shot, having the timely pass. But when you're playing hero ball, there's no timely anything. It's just your turn, my turn, and then it's Marcus's turn. Next, at one point, it's Derek White's turn. The thing is with that team, the Boston Celtics, they should probably start Malcolm Brogdon. He should be the point guard because now thinking about the point guard that they're going to need, they needed someone who can make the team even keel when things are going wrong. Is there like, hey guys, we're doing too much of this, dumbass shooting. We need to calm down. That's what that's what Brogdon can bring you. I don't blame Marcus Smart. I think the problem is Jaylen Brown. Because if he's your second to your Jason Tatum, he's not doing second things. It looks like it's a 1A, 1B. And I think, you don't have a 1A, 1B. You have a 1, you have a 2. When Jamal Murray's going off, what is Jokic doing? Doing all the little things. When Jimmy Butler is going off, Bam is doing the little things. Everyone else is doing the little things. And mind you, everyone's looking at Bam for the offensive point. But no, if you don't need, your second doesn't have to always give you offensive input. Right? It doesn't always have to, especially if the first one is giving it to you. The second one just has to make sure that everyone's in line. Let the main guy focus on the scoring while you focus on organizing the team, making the team better. That's why, in a lot of sense of the league, they want a big who can get down the basket, get easy shots going. Then you want a point guard to level everything out, to do the little things. When you have a quality point guard, it helps out. And the person's doing the little things, they're doing everything. But then when the second is down, then like look at game 7. Kyle had like darn near close to 30 points, and when the Raptors faced the Golden State Warriors. I keep going harping back on that. Even if you go to uh, game 6, I'm gonna pull up the stat because I don't know I know Giannis had 50 points in game 6 of the Suns uh, versus the Bucks. This is not the greatest podcasting, but Suns versus the Bucks game 7. I'm gonna look at the stats and see what it was. See, and it was such a close scoring game. Because I'm gonna show you what little things is, and I'm gonna probably focus on a Drew Holiday or even a Chris Middleton. Let's talk about little things. Okay, Giannis had 50 points, as everyone knows. Had 50 points, had 14 rebounds, 2 assists. Drew Holiday had 11 assists and 9 rebounds, so he had a lot of rebounds. Then there's Chris Middleton with 17 points. Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton had 17, 5, and 5, and 4 steals. Drew Holiday had 4 steals. So when Giannis had 0 steals, had 5 blocks, had 0 steals. And then he had 6 turnovers. So really, his assist to turnover ratio was horrendous. When we look at the plus minus, who had the best plus minuses that whole game? PJ Tucker, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Because they made sure they did all the little things when Giannis was just scoring 50 points. And that's what matters. The fact that Chris Middleton gave you 5 assists and 5 rebounds is amazing. Because those are like the little things don't have to be a triple double. It's just having those type of stat lines. When Giannis is getting 50 points, and then Brook Lopez is giving you a 9 and 8, like the rebounding numbers are immaculate for this team. And and then of course we all know Drew Holiday's playing great defense. Chris Middleton played great defense. And Chris Middleton was pretty good throughout. I'm gonna go Heat versus Celtics now. I'm gonna end this Celtics talk just now, but it's more of what I'm trying to prove here is that if I look at Derek White did his thing for sure. Jaylen Brown had an 8 and 5, 19 8 and 5, but no one else had anything else. Tatum had 11 and 4, but look at the assist. Jaylen Brown had the most in 5. What is Marcus Smart doing? Had 4. Like, you need more from that. You need more assists. You need more rebounds. The rebound numbers are atrocious. That's bad rebounding for that team. So it's just the little things that's missing from this team. It's the everyone doing all the little things. It's so simple. It's just so simple. It's so simple. Like I said, who had the most rebounds in the Boston Celtics? 11. Then it was Horford at 8. Okay, they had a total of 40 rebounds. Miami had 42. Right, they had 42. So it's not like they killed him. They didn't. They clearly didn't kill him in the rebounding department. In the assist department, yeah, Miami had 26 to Boston's 8. It's but those look who got the rebounds. It was 10. It was Bam. Those are the ones who got the rebounds. Kyle had 7 rebounds. Kyle Lowry had 7, 7, and 5. 7, 7, and 5 from your backup. The 6th man of the year, I think he's hurt. Didn't have any points. Derek White, now we can all say it's because Jason Tatum. It's Jason Tatum doesn't hurt his leg. It's totally different. Blah blah blah. But you could just see it in watching the game. It's a lot of hero ball, not timely assists. That's not great. So I truly think for this Boston Celtics team to be better, to legit be better, it's up to Jaylen Brown to change his game. And I mean he has to be a more complete player in all facets of the game. Better rebounder, better at passing the ball. And when he's down, Jason Tatum needs to be a better rebounder, better at passing the ball. Yeah, the numbers, it could say it looks good now, but you can see it. This is eye test shit. When you see from the eye test, you know things are missing. You know things aren't the way it should be. You just know it from watching. But let me move on. I talked so much about the Boston Celtics. The finals prediction. Let's just talk about the finals briefly. I'll give like a few-minute rant. Uh, the Denver Nuggets are going to win the series if they just, and we've heard this so much for the Miami Heat. Uh, the team that they face have always been the better team. Arguably, the Knicks were the better team. They had a better record. They're the better team. So the Miami Heat have faced the number one seed, the number five seed, and then the number two seed. And all three teams were the better team. Record wise, yeah, you can say the Knicks won. You trusted Jimmy more than a Randall. You trusted Bam more. I don't know if you trusted Bam more uh, than a lot of the other New York players, than Brunson. I'm not too sure. But in saying that, you still trusted them more. But now with the Celtics, you trusted the Celtics more. Now, in saying all that, Miami's gonna win because they just flip and believe more than you. They work harder than you. Like if they just work harder than the Denver Nuggets, and Jimmy Butler is just doing what we're seeing playoff Jimmy do. If Duncan Robinson is being the guy that they paid that much money to, if he's hitting shots, like I think he was a difference maker. That whole Boston series, I think he was a difference maker. He missed some of those shots in Game Six, no doubt. But other than that, he was doing his thing. He was hitting timely shots. If Caleb Martin is becoming this this guy, the second scorer for them, and being consistent and shooting efficiently, come on, this, and then Bam just plays great defense on Jokic, which is hard to say because I haven't seen a lot of people play great defense on Jokic. You know, uh, you got to play almost small on Jokic, and then have someone roam. I don't know how they're gonna do that because there's nobody who fills the size to guard Jokic besides Bam. Um, that team is still pretty small. The and Strauss is not the greatest defender. It's not like a Rui as a defender. So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Jokic could probably go off for 40, 50 a game, but then that's really like you let him go off, but you just gotta stop Jamal Murray. The Lakers didn't have anyone to stop Jamal Murray or go toe to toe for Jamal Murray. So it's really about that. But yeah, the Denver Nuggets are the better team. I would be honest, I'm rooting for the Heat to win. I want Jimmy Butler to win. As a Toronto person, I want Kyle to win. Heat culture for real, for real. And I feel like with Miami winning, it makes me believe in the Raptors more because I just feel like this is it. Like you don't have to have the most talented team, but if you just have people who try hard, do what they're supposed to do well, then like it's just good. Like Struess, he shoots threes well. Gabe Vincent does. They know what they're good at. They don't over exude themselves. They don't play out of their mind. Like they don't get above themselves. Like everyone knows their role, and I think that's important. But Denver also knows their role. When you have Aaron Gordon, who in Orlando was averaging 20, but now can average like 15 or 10, honestly, and play great defense, sky's the limit for the team. And Michael Porter Jr., who can basically score on anyone with his height and size, and he is averaging like 15 points a game. But then you have Jamal Murray and Jokic. The two man game is legit. One of the best two man games in the league, if not the best, someone could say. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This series is gonna be funny because I do think Game One is probably gonna be a Denver blowout. The they always talk about the temperature there, the air there, I should say, and then it's just I don't know if the Heat are gonna be able to. And they just came off from a big Game Seven. I do think like Miami just didn't play Game Five or they didn't play Game Four. Game Five, I don't think they really tried that much, but Game Six, I think they did try. They just lost it, but I do think they tried Game Six. But I don't know, man. I if it's a Denver win, it's Denver in five or six. I'll be honest, it's Denver in five or six. If Miami wins, this is a 7 game series. It's a 7 game series, and shout out to Jimmy because he's winning that MVP. But yeah, and then the thing that people are now talking about is that Tyler Hero is probably coming back for Game 3. So I don't know how that's gonna look. because he's a sharpshooter, right? He's a sharpshooter. So, and I don't know, man. I don't really want to see Jimmy Butler come to this. Like, I think Denver has another chance, another year. They are probably the best team to win next year. Them or like I still will believe in Milwaukee. So, I it's like that. But I don't know. But tell me what you guys think. Like I said, Denver in 6, Heat in 7. That's what I'll say. So that's my prediction. But it's gonna be a good series. I can't wait for it. I'm probably gonna talk more finals. Talk to some Raptors, of course. I'm gonna find some more interviews to do with some people. Shout out to those who did it in the past. I do appreciate that a lot. Uh, Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting, all that other stuff. I do appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again. Peace.